I think I'm benefiting actually from a lot of things that I don't support, that are unearned privileges in my life. I think that's absolutely true.
Like your job?
Like I have a very good job. I had a loving family who well, I don't think that's going to do the world any good, is it?
That's a hell of a fine rationalization for your privileged position.
Oh, well, fair enough. But if
you could trade it off with someone who's less privileged.
I could.
That'd be a start.
I could do that, but I don't want to, and I won't, and I don't think I should be expected to.
Why not? Is it okay for you to occupy a position of privilege in the patriarchal tyranny? And if it is it because you're female, or is it just because it's convenient?
Attention, gentlemen, I have an extremely crucial question to ask. What are your thoughts about independent feminists? Or must I rephrase it and ask, what are your thoughts about hypocrite and delusional feminists? Well, in any given way, you will realize that all these narratives about independence and empowerment are nothing less than attempts to legalize and normalize hatred towards men. I mean, look at it this way, you'll find hundreds of feminists online, but not one of them is capable of being financially or emotionally independent. They just use their satanic ideology to bring men down, or more specifically, stab them in their gut. They'll never pay bills and find it offensive when a guy plays by their rule and asks for an equal split. You're average and never too good for them because our dear Miss Universe is good for this planet. Too bad, the feminists are not only stupid but also delusional. Hello brothers, and welcome back to your only staircase to true chivalry. The modern female nature is quite nasty, and I want to discuss that in today's video. This is the #1 item that has broken the conventional dating and relationship dynamic in the present day, making most men frustrated and misogynistic. The number of males turning MGTOW is growing, and in my opinion, this is the primary cause.
I've seen a video of you saying that feminists, not radical feminists, but feminists, have an unconscious wish for brutal male domination. It doesn't quite square with what you've just told me.
Well, one of the things that I'm very curious about is the relative lack of, the relative silence on the part of Western feminists about countries that truly are oppressive, like Saudi Arabia.
It's not exactly answering the question, though.
Oh, it's exactly answering the question, because I'm looking for the psychological reason why there would be much less reaction on the part of the radical feminists to countries that generally are oppressive of patriarchies, instead of reacting the way they are to Western countries which genuinely aren't.
A bell was used to signal when the dog would receive a beating or some food. I realize it was a cruel experiment, but just look at the results. Most of the dogs went into a neurotic breakdown and completely lost their minds when they entered the neurosis. In a nutshell, that's what modern women do with males. Women provide subtle equivocal indications of interest. Then when a male approaches, he sometimes gets applauded for his confidence and initiative, but other times receives shame for being a creep. And there seems to be no pattern other than the fact that women praise self-assured guys who are attractive and punish those who are not. This kind of behavior is not only terribly hypocritical, but it has also caused a great deal of shame, wrath, and dissatisfaction amongst males. Young men who spend their time attempting to understand why women treat them differently from how they treat other guys can develop a hatred for women or a cynical outlook on life. That women openly use a nasty double standard is problematic. They make light of the issue and engage in it openly on social media platforms like Twitter. They used it as a weapon to get rid of unattractive guys and boost their social standing. Rumors about men being creeps spread like wildfire whenever they aren't liked. False allegations and malicious rumors have ruined the lives of many people. Women's identities are built on the premise of their ability to play multiple roles. They don't know about it, and they won't acknowledge that it exists, but it does. The debate about what constitutes the ideal height or weight is undoubtedly the most heated of all time, so let's have it. Women of all shapes and sizes publicly admit they prefer taller guys, humiliating those who fall short. So long as she stops blaming men for being short and stops condemning short guys, there is nothing wrong with it. I can understand her desire for a taller man, and I share her desire for attractive women, saying that a man isn't a man if he's under 5'10". Even while men tend to focus more on a woman's height than she does on anything else, women don't necessarily feel the same way. Nobody ever tells a woman she's unfair if she has such high standards that only 10% of men can actually attain them. Only a select few people in the world average a whole 6 feet tall. Damn, please assist these women to develop a functioning brain. They are really naive and foolish. Men of the future, take attention. Many men have recently returned to the topic by claiming, "I like a woman who weighs in this range," and the topic has once again sparked widespread outrage. Fat shaming is a word coined by feminists to describe this phenomenon. An insult like that hurled back at them by a man was so hurtful that it sparked an entire movement. The fact that big businesses pounced on it as soon as they could doesn't help matters. It's hilariously amusing that women would almost reflexively follow whatever trend happens to be in the spotlight at the time. So today there are ladies in the modeling industry who look like whales and others who are so skinny they can't even walk properly or wear normal clothing. As it instructs us in the proper way to think, it has a fascist ring to it. They are imposing an artificial beauty standard on us and demanding that we appreciate it, even when it runs against everything we hold dear. Are you picking up on the double standard? For many years, men were humiliated for their height, despite the fact that this was something over which they had no control. But when males struck back at women for their weight, criticizing them for wanting to be a certain weight, women completely lost their heads. They made themselves out to be the victim by saying that she is forced to go out in public on a daily basis and that she is overweight due to body dysmorphia. They blamed the patriarchy and they blamed males for forcing their cruel standards on everyone else. Sorry folks, but I can't stop laughing. Too much of the karma quoting. Well, there you have it, ladies. So now that they are delusional and have unrealistic standards from men, let's play the Uno reverse card. Let's show them what it is to be humiliated for centuries over something that was totally uncontrollable. But hey, I have something very rational to say. Didn't God create exercise so we could get rid of the excess weight on our bodies? Well, hell yes, he did. So, ladies, instead of letting your fingers do the workout every single morning when you wake up and choose violence against men, do a little of what they call exercise. And that's how it is done. If you plan to stay a hypocrite, be ready to face the wrath of a man when he chooses revenge over the settlement. And that is exactly what the moral of today's video is. Stop settling for anything that comes with a pussy, man up, and play this game by their rules. These feminists have so many things in common, they shame us and blame us for things that they don't prefer, and find it funny to degrade men online. Modern women, you really compel us to go monk mode and hate every female out there. But don't worry, we know how to teach you to be obedient and realistic. Then, take notes because you're surely gonna need them. Until next time, keep dominating and climbing this ladder higher.